You guys, the housing recession is deepening and home builders' confidence is falling. Keep watching to find out what we're going to talk about today.
It's about time the truth starts coming out. We've been talking about this for months, way before they knew what was going on, what the press was going on. We've got a ton to talk about today, a lot of great statistics for people to dive into to kind of compare. And guess what, guys? Even the statistics they show aren't necessarily accurate because they're from several months back still.
Yes.
So watch for that as well.
100%. All right, so we are bringing to you our weekly article review, and this one was a KSL article. All right, so we're going to get right into it. September marked the 9th straight month that confidence in the housing market has tumbled. Home builder sentiment fell 3 points from 49 in August to 46 this month.
No surprise there.
Yeah, no surprise. We could have told you that months ago.
Well, and what I'm surprised at is that 46% are still confident about the housing market.
Right? Yeah, literally. Yeah, I like to meet
I know, because usually it feels like 98% aren't confident about the housing market. And so, I'm curious how old this data is. Yeah. Because if it was taken 3 months ago, that's going to be much different than what it was here in September.
Or some people are sleeping under a rock somewhere that we don't know about, right? All right, home builders slash.
I think they call that like selective polling, like how they phrase the question, right, might have a big deal to how that stat comes together.
100%, yeah. All right, so home builder slash prices, about 24% of builders reported cutting their home prices, which is up 19% from last month. So we've seen this. Before, I felt like they were doing other stuff so that they didn't have to cut the prices. They were willing to buy down the buyer's interest rate or, some type of other concessions, but it was inevitable at some point.
And guess what? 24%? It is way more here in the state of Utah that have cut their price. I would double that number here in Utah, if not triple it. I guarantee you almost every home builder has dropped their prices here in Utah. Even if they're not necessarily telling you guys that, trust me, they are absolutely doing it.
I agree completely.
They say in this soft market, more than half of the builders in our survey report using incentives, what you were saying, to bolster their sales, including mortgage rate buydowns, free amenities, and price reductions, Dietz said. So we've told this to you guys before, but if you are thinking of building, now is a great time to negotiate.
Yes.
For a couple of years, builders weren't taking any off the price. They weren't giving you any incentives. Why? Because it was so hot for them. Yeah. But now that the tables have turned, you buyers have the power. You real estate agents have the power to go in there, ask for lower prices, get your closing costs paid for, lock in a year-long interest rate, or get that buy down if you need to. Ask for a ton of upgrades that you want. Builders are going to have to start breaking even and sometimes taking losses on some of these homes because they have too much inventory, not enough buyers right now. So take advantage of that.
That's a really good point. All right, so buyers are backing off. The higher mortgage rates, now more than double what they were this time last year at about 2.86. Ooh, that's painful to read that. Are no longer masking the cost of today's record high home prices.
That's exactly a good way to say it. Because rates were so low, a lot of people, we do this with cars and we do this with homes. We take what our budget is, what we can afford for our monthly payment, and then we say, okay, that's what my house budget is. Well, as interest rates lower, that means the more expensive house that you can afford for that same payment. So buyers, back in 2001 when we had crazy bidding wars, it was like, oh yeah, we'll pay 30 grand more. Right. We'll pay 50 grand more because the rates were just kept dropping and dropping and dropping, and they still looked at that bottom line monthly payment, and even though they were overpaying by 40, 50 grand more, it was basically the same payment as what they were looking for when rates were 3.25 before they started dropping into the 2s.
Totally. So homes are selling below list price. On average, home sellers accepted offers below their list prices in August, according to RE/MAX's August National Housing Report of 51 metros across the nation. I mean, we've been saying that for
What would you say, what percentage would you put for Utah?
Oh my goodness. You're gonna put me on the spot with this one.
How many sellers below list price or list price with closing costs?
I'm gonna say 85 to 90.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. Yeah.
So much higher here in Utah. Again, we had record-breaking, led the nation in price appreciation over the last year, 2 years, 10 years. The last 20 years, we've actually led the nation in appreciation. And so, yes, we kind of felt the slowdown happen first. And that's one of the reasons why you and I were out here talking before the news was, before everyone else was, like, guys, prices are going down. Prices have gone down. They're already going down. Sellers are reducing prices. They're accepting below offer levels.
And do you know what's coming back with a vengeance is sellers paying the buyer's closing costs.
Oh yeah, all day long.
All day long. It's back. I mean, we haven't done that in, oh my goodness, a year and a half.
Yeah, so at least.
Yeah.
Inventory tightens. As buyers pull back, so do sellers. New listings dropped 12.8% in August from July, and inventory declined 1.4% after 4 months of double-digit growth, Remax reported.
Wow.
There are still far more homes for sale than 2021 levels, 20% higher than this time last year. These stats are really important for people to digest because Utah is totally different from these. The first thing is inventory is not 20% higher here in Utah. It's like 100% higher. And so we've doubled from the high of what we were in 2021. If we take from where we were at the low in 2022,
oh my goodness,
then it's gone up 500%.
Seriously, yeah.
From the low of 2022. However, even though we're at 10,000 homes right now, it still would only take us 3 months to sell, a little more than 3 months to sell all those 10,000 homes, even if no new homes came on the market. But that stat was when rates were 5%.
Right.
In the low fives. Now that they're in the sixes, you will see inventory increase even higher. But it won't go crazy high because sellers still have that low rate.
And they're all locked in at that 2% interest rate. Yeah.
Yeah. So why move on that 2% when you got to trade that in for a 6%?
Totally.
But we actually have a cool program where you can keep your same rate for your next home.
Ooh.
That we've been creative in some financing options for people that are actually getting really exciting on a different way to do business, which we'll talk about in another episode.
Definitely. All right. So even though high mortgage rates are taking their toll, the overall number of home sales was up 5.3%. That's still significantly down, however, by over 20% compared to August of 2021. This late summer burst of activity, Bailey said, underscores the housing market's resiliency. Despite the uptick in interest rates and concerns about the economy, demand remains strong, Bailey said. We'll see what happens from here, but the August bump in sales was great news for the industry. And you and I talked about that. I mean, the demand is there. I mean, if we see rates fall at all,
it's going to pick back up.
Oh yeah, we see an uptick. I mean, our phones start ringing again if rates go down.
And we saw that in August, and that's kind of some of these things that they're referencing is, you guys, in August, it was the second week or end of the first week in August, interest rates went into the 4s.
Yeah. And
we were on here preaching the good news because we kind of thought this was a sign that rates had kind of hit their limits and that potentially they were on their way back down or at least stabilizing.
Yes.
Because this happened literally the day after the Fed raised their mortgage rates 0.75%. Yes. And the banks pushed back. We were excited about it because low rates, it started to pick up.
Yeah, it did.
A bunch more homes went under contract. Yep. And it actually stopped our 500 a week inventory of coming on of new additional homes on top of what we already had. And it completely leveled it out. And we had that for the last 6 weeks, but now interest rates have taken a turn for the worse. And it is going to cause inventory to go up slightly. Yeah. And lots of buyers are going to back off because now they simply can't afford it. It's too much money.
It is.
There's too much scare. What's scarce? How do you say you're scared? What's the future word of scared?
Uncertainty.
Yeah, there's too much uncertainty. Thank you.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and I don't know what the percentage is right now, but at one point, 75% of first-time home buyers were priced out of the market.
It's higher than that, because rates hit their highest level in the last 14 years. So
yeah, unfortunately,
it's absolutely taking out. So, what you guys, to conclude, a couple things. You notice some of these stats they're using. these are national stats,
Mm-hmm.
right? So even though these articles are kind of fun to read and go over, you guys have to apply these to your local areas. You've got to figure out what the experts who are seeing the stats every day, we can pull the live sales for September. We can see exactly what's happening so that you guys can judge what's happening. Right now, the advice is slow down.
Yeah.
Take your time buying. It might not be the best idea to make that happen right now.
Mm-hmm.
Will that change in a month or two? Absolutely.
Yep.
Could be for worse.
Yeah.
Could be for better.
There's never a dull moment in real estate,
Never
right?
a dull moment. But just be rest assured that this is going to be more of a temporary housing recession than a permanent, longer, this is the downward spiral. No. Expect stuff to stabilize at the end of this year or early next year, and potentially prices to start go back up.
100% correction, not crash. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and have a good day.